Paul, McGuire, Grimes, A, B, C, Minneapolis, Heather, Robert, it is such an honor getting to talk to both of you. You are such icons. So thank you for the time today. I'm so excited.
Thanks for having us.
Hi, Paul.
Yeah, hello. Now, Robert, I want to start with you. How much of Freddie was your creation as the actor versus what Wes's ideas was of how he envisioned the character?
Wes left me alone a lot. He was busy with this one. But he did, we did have some talks, and I think I brought the physicality to Freddie. But I will say this, both Wes and Robert Shea had panicked about the hat, and they were going to change it. They literally had me try on a Paperboy's hat at one point. And I fought for the fedora with the dipped brim because I knew it was such a strong silhouette, and I could hide my bald, deformed skull underneath it and reveal that at some point in the movie. So I did fight for that. They'd lost confidence in it. But other than that, I think the physicality would be the thing that I contributed.
Oh, that's fantastic. And it shows the importance of costuming and how details like that really make a big difference that I think some people just don't get. Heather, I want to go to you next. Nancy is such this iconic final girl. What do fans have to say to you at conventions about her, why she resonates? And does anything still take you by surprise by what they have to say to you?
Well, I often ask my fans, well, they're my friends too, what's your Freddie? Because everyone in their lives has something that not only like scares them, is always some kind of obstacle in their lives or some kind of very frightening reality in their lives that they have to face. And everyone has an answer to that question. And so after we've talked about what their Freddie is, then we talk about like how it is knowing Nancy, how she would handle it. How does that help you? And I have to say, I mean, I've just talked to hundreds and hundreds of people who, no matter what their Freddie is, have often used Nancy as their inspiration to overcome it.
But Nancy, Heather also is responsible, I think, along with Jamie Lee Curtis and Sigourney Weaver. Heather's responsible for the opening the door to the horror, fangirl.
Yeah.
Which now it's equal to
Yeah.
it used to just be a theater full of adolescent boys, and now it's at least 50-50, if not even more balanced, because the survivor girl has become emblematic of
Of
the
these
genre.
movies, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's so important. And Grady Hendrix wrote that great book, like The Final Girl Support Group, which was so much fun. I
Yes.
don't know if you read it all,
Yes.
but yeah. Now, Robert, what made Wes Craven such this master of horror?
Well, Wes is a double threat. He's director and writer, and he's got that writer's mind, and he can he's not afraid to change. He's not afraid of change, and so even though Wes was tall and in command, he ran a reasonably loose ship.
Yeah.
I mean, I was never afraid of contributing an idea at all. And for me, that's one of Wes's gifts. But Wes, had a very strict upbringing, and he was always discovering new things in the popular culture, in music or literature or other movies, and I think he was processing those as an adult now, things that Heather and I had processed as teenagers and stuff. So I think that must have something to do with what excited him.
I mean, he did have a child's mind that way. He was deprived of seeing movies until in his 20s because of his religious upbringing. So when you think about that kind of reality, everything is new to him. Everything is interesting. And when you would bring to him, he would actually, really contemplate, how different it was maybe than his original idea had been.
Yeah, and he was so future thinking. I mean, New Nightmare was so ahead of its time and so meta. It's one of my favorites in the whole franchise.
Right.
Very
Heather,
meta.
yes, yes. Heather, do you remember seeing Robert in full makeup and knives for the first time? And what was that reaction?
Actually, it actually happened on camera when I really saw him for the first time because he was always in his own cubicle getting his makeup done, and I was often working, so I never had a chance to drop in and see him. So it was this scene in the school where I'm following Tina after she's shown herself in the blood bag, in the body bag, and I follow and go down the stairs into the furnace room of the school, and Robert is just there, and that was the first time I saw him in full makeup, and it was terrifying.
And on that same day, I think that's when I discovered the scrape of the fingers on the catwalk, and because Heather was backing up, and I think I drummed them or something, and I noticed Heather, the actress, was
scary.
uncomfortable with that sound.
Yeah.
So now I started playing with it, and Wes liked it too because Wes could see that he could add the sparks.
But then you also did the like wagging your tongue at me, and there was like a lot of weird like body things going on in that were terrifying to any young girl or any human being actually. But yeah, that was the first day that I worked with Freddy Krueger, and I'll never forget that day.
Oh my God, I love it. I love all these stories. I wish to keep talking to you. I got the wrap. Heather, Robert, thank you for everything. And the 40 years of A Nightmare on Elm Street is just a masterpiece. So thank you
Thank
both.
you.
You're welcome. Take care.